Hello, Sai Pallavi. Welcome to Film Companion South.
Hello, sir. Hi. Thank you.
Hi. Yeah. So, hey, this interview is being done on the day of release of Power Kadegal. How far behind you is that, or is this playing on your mind like, oh my God, today Power Kadegal is being released? Is that on your mind?
Generally, I feel a lot more nervous if it's going to be in the theaters. But then today, I don't know, for some reason, maybe I'm a little confident because it's Vetri sir who's done it. And maybe the confidence that I have on him is taken some of the heat. And I feel fine, not very jittery, not very scared.
Okay. So you feel that thing when a film is hitting theaters, like box
I
officey
do.
thing?
Oh,
Okay.
I do. Because it's something that you imagine for that particular character and how people receive it. And if it doesn't work that way, and you're not very sure how you will be able to take it. So yeah.
Which is the time that your conception of a character matched perfectly with how you wanted people to take it?
It's never happened, but then it's been either positive or it's been the other way. Always held a very, I always think of it in a very neutral plane. I think, okay, maybe they'll just like it and then they'll let it go, not much and not less. But then I think Premam was one
Yeah.
film which I didn't expect to, I thought they just let me pass. I was happy if they would just not boo me away from the screen. They'll say, oh, let's just forward this portion. So if I think that would be the most memorable one.
This
I
is
never
this is
expected to.
completely the understatement of the year. I think move me out of the porch the screen. You
No,
became the most memorable.
no.
Uh,
That was a fear. I still remember how I felt because the minute I came in, I was unsure of how people might feel about my voice or the way I looked. So I had that fear in me. So
so you are studying to be a doctor in some place in Eastern Europe, and suddenly you are right now on the Forbes 30 under 30 list. What, what does it feel like? I mean, the whole this journey that's happened without really much of a plan from your side.
there, you just said it. I didn't plan anything for myself. So as it's coming my way, I'm just happy, and I'm there in that moment, and I'm working towards what makes me happy. And I think that's what until now, I guess
Okay,
I
so
I've never had anything planned. And I didn't know that if I do this, this would work out. It's just that if I listen to the script, I like it, and this happens. If there's someone who asks me a question, this how I haven't given it a lot of thought. Even now, this minute, I'm blank. I don't even know what's coming my way. So
now when you got the script for Power Kadegal, right? What was the first thing that went through your mind? Was it like a will I be able to pull this off, or is it excitement that wow, this is a shade that I haven't played before? What happened?
to be very honest, I think even Sir had mentioned it in few interviews. He asked me for a role in Asuran.
Right.
I had turned it down because there are a few directors with whom when you work, you want a little more. You little greedy, you want a little more, and you want them to give you a proper meaty role. So he told me, see, this is something we're doing for Netflix, and it's 30 minutes, but then it's about dad and you. So will you be interested? And I read it, and then it felt right. I didn't know how it would work. I didn't know if I could pull it off, and uh, then that I was not very aware of what he was going to do with it because it's very different when you're just given a script saying that this is what's going to happen. It was not detailed. It's just that dad would be there. He would bring me back to my village, and then I'll
What
be dead.
happened?
So it's just this. But then I didn't know the intricacies of whatever would happen in that scenario for me to know that okay, this is going to be challenging. It's only in the set that I even knew it was pretty heavy.
Is this your heaviest role?
This and I would say Kali, a
Right.
scene from Kali, they both were a little traumatic, yeah, for me.
Traumatic. Okay.
Yeah.
Are you one of those method people, or are you just one of those people who listens to the actors, what the director says? I want you to do this, and say, let me do this to the best of what he or she wants me to do.
I don't know. I don't know because up until now I've not been instructed by anyone to do it except for NGK. And I don't know whether I played it the way the director wanted again. I was just only trying to imitate Selva sir, but then except for that film, everything else was just me. So I'm unaware of whether I'm doing it in this way. But when I'm there in that set, generally before I go into a location, I try to meditate, feel very neutral, and then go in. So the minute I'm there, the emotion that comes through me is what you see on screen, and I'm unaware whether and even if I prepare, say I'm sad already in the location, it doesn't work. I overdo it on screen and it doesn't look nice. In front of the camera, I'm already sad, so I cry more than I'm required to. So I generally, before go, I unwind, I make myself neutral, and then I walk in. So I don't know what you would call that. So
Right. No, it's interesting you said that because, I'm going to ask you, name some filmmakers and how they made you perform. And I was going to begin with Vetri, but because you mentioned Selva, now that was a very, I would say, interesting performance because I wasn't sure the first time I saw it how to react to it because the pitch was so unique. It was so set at one point, and you would call it natural. There was definitely something happening there. So what was it like when he told you play the scene this way? Because the scene, let's say the scene you're sniffing
yeah.
a shirt, right?
Yeah.
Like that is a very stagey kind of too, stagey not in a bad way, but like in a performance level way. What happened there? I mean, like what was the thing on set?
When I signed, when we read the script, you read it in your language, the language that you understand. So I thought, okay, I get I get a little bit of scent from him, and then I move closer, and then it's just on the top. You don't know what you do, but in the location, I got to know I need to sniff, hold his hair, and then be that shrill. And to be honest, I scared myself. Every time I did a take, after they say cut, I'll be crying for 15 minutes. Exactly, standing in the same position. I'm not used to being very loud. I don't like being angry. So when I'm that angry, it comes from within my tummy, it's too much for me to take, and I just break down right there. So after every take, it was tears. Even if I'm angry and I look brave, it's just tears after that. So with Selva sir, he said that he wants it to be this way.
Right.
He wanted it to be in this pitch. He wanted all of us to be a little more eccentric. He didn't want us to behave the normal way.
Right.
So that's why literally all of us were in that zone, and it was an experience. I think I would be thankful for that, because in a way I shed a lot of these inhibitions, or say I felt a little shy before to be that loud, to be that crazy, and I think that got broken over there. And now I don't doubt myself much. I just go with the flow. In case they want me to be eccentric, I do it without doubt. So I think I lost that there.
That's great. So when Selva did he act it out for you?
He did in the location, yes.
Right.
When we had the narration, it was just reading the scenes, but there we didn't know how we would play it.
Right.
But in the location, that's when I knew that I'd kick chairs, and there were a few more scenes which were even more violent. So it's just there that I knew what I was doing.
So when he explained it to you, did you ask him like why is my character doing this? Or did you just say, okay, this is how he wants me to do it, so let me do it this way?
When maybe I had this blind faith. I'd seen his movies before, and there was always some character which was not the normal way. So I thought maybe I'm that character this time, and I am doing something. So I did ask him sometimes if I could like tone it down a little. Would I behave this dramatic? He said, no, just go ahead and do it. So I think I had blind faith. I wouldn't say anything else.
No, I mean, did you ask why your character is experiencing this the reasoning behind
he did, but he didn't. I asked him why she would be so loud. He said, no, that's her character. This is how she is. When she knows that her husband is he might be with another woman, people react in a very different way. So this girl's character, I'd want her to react this way. Yeah. I want her to take it out on him in this way. And because before she is very docile, she's very, she doesn't move much. She's very timid. But then there's a point at which she gets very physical. I want this to be there. So I thought, okay, let me trust the director. Otherwise, usually I ask a lot of questions. When Vetri sir, so first it was Dhanush sir who told me that Vetri sir would want to talk to you again for this film. So
this is for Paava Kathaigal.
Paava Kathaigal, yes. So he and then Vetri sir spoke to me and he said, Dhanush enkita already sollirundanga that neenga nariya kelvi keppinga nanu edirundhalum kelunga paravailla. So I'm always someone who, if I have a doubt, I think I need to clear it before, otherwise it would show through me. When I act, you can see it through. You know that this girl isn't sure of what she's doing. And sometimes when I completely surrender, I leave it to the director. But I'm always someone who keeps questioning the director. Maybe the one time I just let everything go was on the sets of NGK.
You just explained Selva's process. What
Mm-hmm.
is Vetri's process on the sets of Pava Kadagal?
He's a very cool man, surprisingly. I had
I
imagined
thought he was
him to
very
be...
intense.
No, yeah, exactly. I've seen his work and I thought he'll be a very intense person and he'll have everything sorted. And the first day, I was very nervous because I didn't know the dialogues. I knew literally nothing when I walked in there. We just knew the outline. So I asked him, "So what are we doing? I still don't have the dialogues and I'm in my costumes. What do I do?" He said, "Ukar manga. We'll just sit and discuss. What do we do?" And then he said, "I said, so dialogues. I need it. No." He said, "No, just call it Urayadal." She said, "Just conversation. It's Urayadal." I said, "Urayadal. What do you mean by that? Please give it to me because I'm working with Prakash sir." And he gets it in a second, and I wanted to be prepared. He didn't give me that time, so the first day was a little scary, but then it was scary because he was too cool. Vetri sir was very cool. He sat there, he said, slow up, Pola. And suddenly he just said something, someone wrote it down, they gave me the paper, they said, okay, take shot ready. I'll need 5 minutes. So it's the first day, just give me 5 minutes for me to think it on. So yeah, Vetri sir doesn't tell you what he wants. He lets you. He'll explain. He'll narrate, saying that this is the premises. This is what is going to happen, and just go on, do whatever you feel like. And sometimes, after I did few shots, I went and told him, what, I can do better. I think you haven't seen me act. He hasn't seen my film. I think he's only seen Premam. So I told him, what, I can actually do better. I can cry better. I can do this better. You'll give me one more chance. He said, no, எனக்கு வந்துருச்சு emotion போதும். Don't try after this. And we shot the portion in the village first, and then we moved to Bangalore. So when we were at Bangalore, I was already emotional from whatever baggage we carried from the previous scenes, that the minute Dad walked in, I started to cry. He said, I don't want that. I don't want that. So that is where he came in and he said, I don't want you to cry. I don't want you to do this right now, because people who are watching, they'll never know what's coming.
Right.
So it's just at that point that it was too emotional, because I've been through that phase, and suddenly when I saw Dad, it was heartbreaking. So I think there he said, Prakash sir and I, both of us were trying to control ourselves. So at that point he said, now you people are controlling, I get it, but then I want you to be this way. I think it's only at that point that he even said something. Otherwise he was always okay with anything we did. And that made me feel very uncomfortable, because I thought maybe he didn't know I could do better, and he just thought maybe that's all this girl could perform. He said, "So no, I can do better." Yeah, he's like that. He doesn't expect you to do something.
Right.
But few shots as they prolong, he instructs. இப்போ நீங்க அப்படியே அழுதுட்டே போய் திரும்புங்க, இப்போ அப்படியே பண்ணிட்டு கத்தி அழுங்க. That alone he did once or twice, but otherwise the expressions and what we do, he never interferes. He just lets us do what we feel like.
So I'm going to ask you about the process of a couple of more directors. Sameer Tahir in Kali.
Oh, he's very cool. Again, he's very cool. He was very scared actually when we did that one scene in the car where the villain comes and he tries to knock at the door. So that scene, I felt it. I felt that from within, because we would have had such encounters in the past. We would have been. I felt like I was a very tiny person and overpowered by someone. So I tried to bring it out at that moment, and it became too much that they thought they should call cut. So Sameer, after that was over, he said, I feel so bad bringing a small girl here and torturing her. We're all men around her and I feel so uncomfortable. Let's just do it. Even if the take is not okay, I'm okay with this. Let's just move on. So he's very sensitive when it came to me. I think he was more considerate about how I felt. And it was my second film after Premam. So it was a long time. I think I did this film after a year. I didn't know much. I was still this naive kid watching and going around. So he was very protective of me, and he tried to just bring out the best and didn't put a lot of pressure. Yeah.
And what about Alphonse in Premam?
Oh, Alphonse is crazy. You won't know when what is rolling. Niven and I would just be talking, and he'll say, okay, at the location pola. He'll go put us there, and he'll ask us to talk and say, at the location pola. So he's not someone who has everything figured out and he needs to go by the book. At times, there's something which inspires him and he goes by that. He sees a butterfly, he's like that. He follows that. He's more like a child. He goes there and he says, this is nice. He sees that a tree, he'll say, get on top of the tree, just sit over there for a while. So there's this part of him which communicates with nature, and he's very receptive to whatever is going on around him, that he tries to draw it in and then he goes about. Even the scenes or expressions that I give, most of the time he'll just be talking and then he'll know what will induce that. For example, this scene where I say, shirt nalla irukku illa kurta. He told me first it's kurta. And then, he said shirt. And then he came and corrected kurta. The minute I made the mistake saying, sorry, kurta, he said, okay, we'll go to the next one. I said, no, I made a mistake. He said, I like mistakes. I like it when you make mistakes and it's not the dialogue which I gave you.
Right.
So he's like that. He sees how you are, and according to that, he'll. And when he met me, he asked me what my talents were. He knew that I was a dancer, and so, but he asked me to sing. He asked me to cry, and actually, surprisingly, I think I've never said that before. He asked me to cry when he came home. He said, "I'd like to see you cry. Can you cry?" So then I was like, for a while, and I couldn't get it out. Too much pressure, and I've never acted before, and I didn't know how it works. And then I was thinking, okay, let's think of the bad thoughts. Okay, something happens to me, something happens to family. Still no tears. And then I tried something, and I just got one tear out. And then he said, you know what, Pallavi, personal advice: never cry in movies. I don't want you to ever cry in movies. Next film, Kali happens, I am crying throughout. The man must have thought she never takes my advice for real. Oh God. So that was one thing he told me.
And finally, Shekhar Kamala.
Shekhar Garu is more than a director to me. He's shaped the way I look at life right now, or at least in a work environment. Because when I am a very different person. I've never, even if I'm in a very complicated situation, I try to just either walk out of it instead of making it bigger. He says that you need to fight for what is right. You need to be there. If you don't do it now, it's never going to happen. So he's someone who taught me all of that. He taught me to be a woman in the sets of Fida. Otherwise, I was always this gullible little child walking around. And I don't know how it always happens. In the set, I'm always the child. Any set. Even if there's someone younger to me, they somehow think that I'm the younger one. So somehow in that set, he taught me what it is to just stand for your rights, even if it is, say, professionally wrong. As a person, if you think that they've hurt your sentiments, you need to put it across. If they do not accept, you need to wait for an apology. He said that at so many times. For example, there was a time at which, when it comes to caravans, you have two sides. If you're sharing one with another actor, and Varun is pretty huge. He is big. He needs to get the bigger one. But then there was that one day when I had a sari and there was no space in my caravan, and I just freaked out. I said, no, it isn't working, because the person who was draping it for me was literally on the steps. So I was very emotional. I said, this is not how it is done, right? So I went straight to Shekhar Kamala. I told him, see, you either give me something which is equal, because like how he is big, he really needs that space. The same way I'm draping something, there's one person going into the restroom, there's one more going down to the steps. So it's very uncomfortable. Or you give me a room, do something, don't put me in a spot where I think I'm less. He said, if you feel this way, you should not get dressed. Just go put on your clothes, come sit over here until you have another caravan. I don't want you feeling this way. And he's the director of that film. He said, the set will wait. The set will wait, it's okay. You need to be made to feel comfortable. And so these are few things. Again, when we were in the US, when you're in a different town, everybody is in a very uncertain, everybody's a little uncomfortable over there, because you don't know from where you get what. So even in that place, if I was treated wrong, he wouldn't say that, come on, you're all going through this. He'll say, no, stand for your rights. If another actor is feeling this way, then it's okay for you to feel this way too. Right. If the male lead is given this, the female lead should be given this. He's always spoken for equality. And sometimes I ask him, Shekhar, why is it that you are so different? He said, no, this is a very, again, I'm being very honest. This is what he said. Sometimes when you give both of them equal importance, the other person feels that they're given less. It's because always in the society, I'm not talking about just the movies alone, even outside, it's always that the male counterpart, they get the bigger one, or they are, maybe because they stay in the industry for longer. So I don't know how that works. So I was very new to all of this. He educated me. But the best part is I worked with actors and directors who gave me the bigger space. For example, the minute Varun got to know about this, Varun said, I would like to swap rooms. I don't want her to go through this. Come over to my room, Pallavi, change, you can take this. He didn't think twice. I've worked with the best of heroes and the best of directors that I felt so comfortable. But somewhere here and there, you come across such incidents, but there's always a cushion. You have Shekhar Kamula, you have Varun, you have Rana. All of them have made sure that I was comfortable. So that's why I'm able to confidently talk about it right now.
Right.
Saying that I felt this way. I'm talking about this and that. It's not like it's always bad, but there's always someone who's going to be there to make you feel comfortable in that space. Shekhar Kamula taught me a lot when it came to how to be.
And I'm glad you said that, because that quality of his, it really comes through in all his films.
Yeah.
That thing, it's almost like yes, I would expect this of him. I'm getting that because I don't know him at all, but from what you say, it's like it's really there in his films. So
no, what shocked me more was not because I'm the actor. There were two the costume designers, Rabab and Himani. So they did brilliant work, but for some reason there was some kind of rift between maybe the managers or them, and they were more modern. They said we're going to hold on to the costumes until generally you get paid, and by the end of the film, most of the crew, not talking about the cast, the crew. So these girls had a need maybe at that point, and they caught hold of the costumes. They said, we're not giving the costumes until you pay us. We need the money. Shekhar Garu said, I applaud their, he should be scared because right now we're not able to shoot. He said, I can't believe those girls did it. I admire them. Salute to them. I said, this man is crazy. So it's not that he thinks this way for the actor alone, actor and actress. He thinks it's for everyone. You're the costume designer. You're anybody in the sets. You need to be treated equal. In his sets, I think his sets are the only ones where I've seen a more number of women working. We have 6 to 7 people in the sets. So that is huge.
No, you just talked about equality. So this is not coming from a place of, when Wonderbar put out a 1 billion views poster for Rowdy Baby, a lot of your fans on YouTube and on Twitter said that, why isn't Sai Pallavi on this poster? Because she's part of the dance as well. Did you kind of think about it, about why this was happening?
No, as soon as it hit 1 billion, the first message that came was from Dhanush.
Yeah.
He said, I'm so happy this happened, and I'm so happy it was with you. He was very happy, and he conveyed that message already. So I think I was celebrating with the team on this success. I did not look at it. I was a fan-made poster that was put up by the team, say Wonderbar or anyone else. So I just thought it's the fan-made stuff that was there. It's wrong for me to go and ask the fans, excuse me, why isn't my picture up there? And it didn't even cross my mind. I was just happy. But when people mentioned it, I had this little guilty happiness, oh, it's okay. I don't mind taking this amount of love. Thank you so much. But it didn't hurt me, or it didn't bother me much, because I know people in the sets, they meant well. They really like me. Especially Dhanush, he was so happy. He said, I'm happy this was your song. He was very vocal about it. So I don't think that anything was meant to be that way. But then I'm happy that it was in my favor, that people said something sweet then, and I felt overwhelmed.
Does it give you extra happiness when you know that there's a script that's come and it has a great dance number in it?
Actually, no.
Wow.
No.
But seeing you in Rowdy Baby, I thought you must wow, this is it.
We didn't know Rowdy Baby was happening when I signed. I was just looking for characters that I didn't know I could play. Okay. There are a few characters which you would think, loud, auto driver, Arat Anandis. And honestly, I had fun shooting. Even now, I would say I had fun shooting for Mari. It was a blast. And so it's not like I get excited when I listen to a director say that there might be a nice dance number. And trust me, we didn't know Prabhudeva sir was doing it. Okay. If I'd known, I would have said no from the beginning. I would have said no, Prabhudeva. So I'm very scared of him. I'm very scared because I've always heard artists say that he's very serious. He'll be very cool. But then if you don't get it right, he'll go 100 takes. He'll say, okay, one more. And I have this very different style in me that I don't know if I can adapt to another one. That's always been my fear. So I said, definitely not him. But it so happened. And again, it happened in the same set where I lost my competition, which was Ungaril Yaraditha Prabhudeva. So it was a very memorable day.
Right. And it's a fantastic, both you and Dhanush together, just amazing. I mean, that dance number is such a pleasure to see. I think, just people see it again and again. I'm one of those. I've seen it so many times. It's like one of those, you're feeling a little low, you play that, and it's just like this all out Like,
I'm glad.
yeah.
But trust me, inside there was the stress levels were hitting 100. I was so stressed. I was dancing with Danu. She had too much energy. And I knew I was a little graceful and I wouldn't be able to exert so much energy. So I had to do every take with the most I could do. So I was so stressed throughout that when someone says they enjoyed it, I'm like, okay, yeah, they enjoyed it. Good that they couldn't see through and they didn't see the stress in my face. So in that way, I'm glad.
Are you like actresses who say, I want to try every like type of role? Or do you say that, is there a particular thing that makes you happier than a particular kind of part that makes you happier than another kind? Like when you get like on the one hand, you have a Mari, on the other hand, you have a Pao Kadegal.
Mm.
Like, is that both giving you happiness, or does like, I'm not asking you to like name
Mm,
parts or
mm,
something like that,
mm,
but generally
mm.
speaking, like, how do you gravitate towards films?
Firstly, I like a little pain and a little reality. I like indie movies more than the films that I've been doing now. When that was another reason why I think I wanted to do Pava Kadegal, because it was not the usual way where you have a song, you need a break in between two events, and you need to fill it with something else. So I always, I think, enjoyed watching such films, and so always wanted to be part of say indie films, a little offbeat, which has a lot of pain and which is even more raw. I've liked such films, so I think I'm drawn to those. And even script wise, I'm looking for those kind of roles. But sometimes I get surprised because in sets like Mari, I never expected to have so much fun playing that character. So it so happened, and even Fida, it isn't the real me, but over there I was way too loud, and say in a second you've got to change two expressions. Who would do that? I'm like, who? It's suddenly in the third expression. So that's quite a lot, and it's I prefer those roles. I look for them, but when there's something else which pleases my heart, I do it, and then I end up feeling happy over there. So it's not like I'm stuck to one particular genre. I keep swapping because I'm unaware of what gives me happiness.
Now you have a very tough scene to play in Power Kadegal. It's actually not just a scene; it's like a stretch, a sequence. It's like it's agonizing for you, it's agonizing for your
Mm-hmm.
father, and it's agonizing for the audience as well. But is that the toughest scene you played in your career, or is there something else that you'd pick as which was the toughest thing to ever do for you?
I think everything I did in NGK was the toughest for me because I've always been myself. I've always taken in the role and done everything. So even Power Kadegal, though it is emotionally draining, I found anger took more of my energy. It drained me even more compared to the emotion I found in Power Kadegal. So which was hard. I think NGK was hard because I had to imitate another person. The rest of the films, I was just myself and I was there in that moment. In that way, I would say Pava Karegar, the sequence that you just mentioned, that was the hardest. And after that would be the Kali incident. Because Kali, I could relate to it. And meaning I had an experience like that in the past, so I could connect and then I recreated it. But when it came to Pava Karegar, I've never been pregnant. I've never been in a spot like that. It's just that I felt so lost, betrayed, and all of that. The emotional trauma hit me very hard than the physical trauma. It's not about the pain, not the prosthetic which was hurting me, not the tummy which was hurting me, but it was just that I was begging my dad. Sometimes you cry to your dad saying, "Dad, I'm in pain." You expect your dad to come see you and hug you. So here I'm the child wanting my dad to just come and see how much pain I'm going through. And then I realized I have a child in me. What do I answer to that little one? So that I was torn between that, where I'm the child and I have someone to answer to. So that was very hard for me. So emotionally, I would say Power Kadegal drained the life out of me. And physically, and again, a little bit of energy being drained out was from NGK because I was way too loud.
I'm going to name some of your co-stars. I just want you to name one thing that you picked up from them, like that you really like that they do. And let's begin with Prakash Raj.
I know nothing about him. That you can never see through that person. You don't know whether he's happy this minute or he's sad. You can never see through. He's so guarded that I sometimes, you feel like if the other person is a little more vulnerable, you'll be okay. So I was so uncomfortable around him because he was so tight. He was in character. So sometimes when a person has so many layers on, you think whether the person is actually like that or is it because of the character. So I think Prakash sir has layers on him when he acts, and it looks way too real, and it's so difficult for you to crack and see what he's thinking, and that makes you feel very uncomfortable. Yeah, so that is something which I saw, and I think I would want to learn that.
Okay.
Yeah, that's very difficult to achieve, and
Uh,
yeah.
Dhanush.
He's a great actor, and you know what, it's very easy for him to just watch a person for 2 minutes and he'll be able to imitate them the exact same way and believably. He can just look at a scene that Rajni sir has done, he'll do it the same way, and you'll think, oh, it's actually Dhanush who did it. You can see Kamal sir do something and you can see him do that. So I've seen that he is like a chameleon. You give him something, he transforms into that. You show him something, he transforms into that. So he's very, very talented. Very.
Nivin.
Nivin, he is such a sweet person. He is so innocent. He has no feeling that he's an actor. He's just there in the sets. He's by himself. You do anything, he. I don't know. I'm not able to think of him as an actor anymore, because whatever happened in the location, we became more like friends. So when I think about Nivin, Nivin's a friend, and he is such a sweet person and a phenomenal actor. He is a great actor. Now I should start talking like an actor. He is a great actor. I can't take that away. He's very natural, and he'll try to say, example, action hero Viju. He told me that he was playing a cop, and then he later sent me a picture. I said, shouldn't a cop look fit and like perfect? He said, no, you just watch and see. He had made sure that the character was even more real, if it looked even more real, because he was the way he was at that minute. So he's very clever, and at the same time, he is confident, and he somehow gets into the skin of the character and he owns it. You'll, in the end, even the director or writer who wrote it, you'll think, oh, okay, this is better than what I'd expected. He does that to the character.
Varun Tej.
Varun, I think we shot so many days without Varun, say without him with Shekhar Garu, that whenever he came, he'd be very quiet, and I would go and try to talk to him, just thinking that, okay, what if he's feeling uncomfortable that I'm, because literally everybody in the sets kept pampering me. So I would be there saying, Varun, hi, how are you? This and that. He said, Pallavi, you know what, chill. This is your film. I would want you to do this. I think that's the first time I've heard an actor say that, no, you don't have to try very hard to make me feel comfortable. I really think you're okay. Sometimes you feel that way when you're there going 10 takes. And I still have that habit. The minute my shot is done, I want to go see how I've done it so that I can correct myself. So even if the camera plays say 10 meters away from us, I would run, go watch it, and then come back. The man was still patient over there. He said, no, that's what you got to do. If you want to do that, do it. So he was very understanding, and he took a lot of pressure off me, because it's my first film in Telugu, and I know he's a huge star. And when it was Fida, I felt really uncomfortable. I thought, should I make him comfortable? Should I do something? He said, no, just chill. It's all right. I'm fine. So he was the first person in the industry who even told me that it's okay to chill.
Dulquer.
Dulquer is more like family. My sister and Dulquer are way more closer than I and Dulquer are. Half the time in the dubbing, I'll be crying and like sweating and going through so much pain. My sister will be there at his place eating nicely, saying, Pallavi, should I pack some food for you? So he's become more like family. So, and yeah.
No, I mean, like, is there something about his acting that you picked up, or saw him do?
There's this one scene where in Kali, where I would actually I should feel jealous seeing another woman walk towards him, and she'd come and touch his shoulder. So at that point, I said, I'm doing something. I don't know whether it's convincing. He told me, Pallavi, if you're able to feel it within you, the audience can see it even if the camera can't. So that was one point which actually stuck to my head. Even now, sometimes when I think that I wasn't, the facial expressions didn't change much, but then I remember that point that he said, and it's worked until now. Sometimes you feel an emotion with him. There might be this tiny muscle which would have moved, but I'm sure people would have felt that emotion. So he is the one who told me that. That is one point, yeah.
Nani.
So again, I'm being honest this time. When after Fida, I like roles where I'm either part of the plot or I am the plot. I might be greedy, but then I like being that way. So when MCA happened, I told myself, let's just be part of this project and see how I feel. Even if I'm not influencing the plot in a major way, and even if I'm not doing much, let's see how it is to be in that place. Because people around me, when I did Fida, they said, it's not possible. Maybe Pallavi might not like it. So it was like a challenge. I thought, let's just do it and see. And they were right. I didn't feel, it didn't feel right. And I felt very uncomfortable. So anytime, I don't like standing in a scene like a prop. That, again, it's a personal thing. It's not that it's wrong, because everybody can't always ask for everything. Say,
Right.
if the film is on me and there was someone else, they can't say, how can it be over? That is wrong. But I'm talking about myself and how I felt. I don't like, even if the hero's fighting someone, no, I don't like to be standing, because in that moment you will want to protect your guy. You will want to go push the guy off, the villain. And then that's when the stunt master will be like, why is she coming? She should just be standing there. I said, no, I can't stand. He's my boyfriend. Something's happening. I need to go do something. So I've always felt uncomfortable when I don't have anything to do in front of the camera. Being a prop is never, meaning like a prop, say not a lot of movements or my presence over there, I think it should matter. In the film, there were places where I did feel uncomfortable, and Nani was there saying, I know how you feel. You please don't have to feel bad. This is just a face. And it's not important for an actor to say that. He didn't force me to sign this film. I put myself in that spot. So he went out of his way to come and tell me, I know how you feel. I know how you pick films. I know this is not your way of doing things, but just I'm there for you. Don't worry. You'll get it over with. Don't worry. So he did that. And Nani is very dedicated. He doesn't look at a film as just, he doesn't walk into the set and say, okay, this is my dialogue, this is what I do. Even before he walks in, he makes sure that he knows the whole thing. I think he was an AD before, and he still makes sure he's that grounded when he comes in. He doesn't walk in with that air. He makes sure that he knows everything that's happening, what everyone is doing, so that he tries to make it as real as possible, the environment. Even if it's a commercial, say, film like MCA, he tried his best to make everything as natural as possible. He said, oh, if you're doing that, then I'll come this way. I'll come and do this. So we discussed with the director and we did a lot of things. And that way, Nani is doesn't just walk in just to do the dialogues and he doesn't leave.
Fahad.
Oh, Fahad. I was intimidated before I met him because I've seen his work. And there's something about his eyes. When he's looking at you, you don't know whether that's love or hatred. It is that thin line. You don't know whether he meant something or it was sarcastic. So I always had that feeling. For example, he said, the minute he saw me, he said, Evando Nani Garu. I wanted to know whether he was happy with the song or was he mocking me. I said, what did you mean? No, in my house, my sisters, they play that song very often. I said, in a good way, or were they actually mocking me? What was happening? He just laughed, he looked at me and went. I still don't know what that meant. I really don't. I still don't know whether he liked the song or he was mocking me. So Fahad is very subtle with his expressions, and it speaks so loud on screen. There are few films, I'm not talking about Atiran alone. You take Trance or Kumlangi Nights or anything, you wouldn't have imagined that character to be that way. We'll think of this creepy husband to react in a different way, not this way where he looks at her, from that door. That scene is stuck in my head. So the way he does something is so different. And we actually had a conversation of this at some time where he said that he wasn't sure whether he wanted to do movies. And then he took time off, he went to the US. And then one day he just figured, okay, let me come and give it another try. And then he said, I didn't take pressure. That's when I realized when you take a lot of pressure onto yourself, thinking that you are performing, you are this, you need to keep up to whatever you've done before or anything, it brings you down. So every film I do, I just do it like this is my last film or first film. I don't have a before or after that. So when he said that, it made sense, because sometimes, I ended up thinking, oh, is it okay for me to do this? Will people think that, oh, why is this girl who is doing such films suddenly doing this? Sometimes, you don't want that love to go away. You think I'm just happy with what I'm getting right now. Let's just do it in the same way and develop. You wouldn't want to immediately branch off. So there were times when I would sit and think whether it's a wrong choice if I did this, and will I lose the love that I'm getting right now? And that time his voice will ring in the back of my head. Don't think there was a before or after. Just see if you want to do that minute and finish it. People will be convinced with what you do if you are. So yeah, that's something I learned from him.
So just to go back to Middle Class Abba, you said that that's not the kind of film you would typically sign, but you said, let's put myself in that situation. Don't you think that kind of helps you personally, if not like cinematically, like to kind of go through a certain experience that you normally would try to avoid, just so that you kind of, it becomes a like a toughening experience, or an experience in itself, just to see what it's like.
If it's going to be roles, it's different. If there is going to be a challenging role and all of that, I think it's I don't mind putting myself through all of that. But when you know that what is hard is you not doing anything, so that is where I kind of drew my line. I realized it's not that it is wrong. For example, again, I'm mentioning that if I did something and there was someone who said that, listen, the film, why is it about her? I need a little more. It's wrong on my part to feel the same way when it's happening to another person. So I realized that this is something which I can't do.
Right.
I again need to be the plot or need to influence the plot in some way. So yeah.
Surya.
Oh, again, I am his huge fan. The first day I met him, I didn't know he was standing right behind me. I just turned, and that's the first time in my life I even knew, in the films they show you that the dramatic way where you're swept off your feet or you just lost your breath for a second, you just carried off. I felt that way. It was like my breath just, I did that. He heard that. He saw. I did again. I'm recreating it, and he saw that. And he didn't, he knew that I felt that way, and he just looked away. He smiled. And that cute smile he has. Oh God. So he did that and he looked away. I knew that he knew I felt this way. And I said, sorry, sir, if I made you uncomfortable. I've always seen you. I've always wanted to see you in person, but this is different. And then he said, no, I understand, ma. It's okay. But Surya sir is someone, he's been in the industry for so long. He's so disciplined that I think he'll sometimes, after say I've done 8 or 9 films, and sometimes you'll think just one day let's be chill, let's not do the dialogues right now, let's go there and then maybe do it. There's that one day when you would want to be a little lazy. I've never seen him that way. He's way too disciplined. He's a perfectionist. He makes sure, and there are takes where, oh God, I'm someone who can't fake something. If there's a shot where you need to slap me, you actually need to slap me. Otherwise, I can't react. So if there's a thing where I need to slap someone, you get it. So there were scenes where I need to hold him and physically hurt him. I did that. And again, without my knowledge, and I had to do it 10 to 20 times. And he was okay. And what's the best part? There was a shot where it's just his ear. And it's a little bit of his shoulder. And I went so many takes, and the pressure was building up because he was just standing there. He didn't even have a dialogue. It was just my dialogue and his little suggestion. And at one point I started crying. I said, sir, you know what? I'm actually a good actor. I don't know what is happening. I'm not able to get this dialogue across. And you're standing over there, it's building up too much pressure. He said, see, this is a new set. We're all here learning. You're in the beginning of your career. This is going to happen even more, and it'll be even more embarrassing. You know what? You just need to be there. Don't bother whether it's me or anyone. We'll wait for you. People won't know when they watch the film how many takes you took. It's how real you make it look. So he didn't have to do that. Sometimes, I've seen actors who would just say, can't you just look at the side of the camera? So it was very sweet, and it took a lot of heat off me because I was already doing something which I wasn't aware of.
Already intense at the performance level, at the emotion level.
I was not very sure if I was doing exactly what Selva sir wanted me to do. I was doing something which wasn't part of my comfort zone. I was being very loud and I was physical, so I didn't know what I was doing to that man. I said, sir, are you okay? Every time I finished the take. So he was very understanding, made me feel very comfortable. And on the day of the audio launch, I watched the song with which had him and Rakul in it. I immediately turned. I said, "So you had a song with her?" And then he said, "Even I felt so disappointed. I wanted to do something that with you." I said, "Okay, that's enough. That'll do. Thank you." And yeah, he's very sweet, very cool, and he's made me fall in love with him even more.
So my last question derives a bit from what you said Fahad said to you on the set, which is like, he got into films and then he went back and then got into films again. Have you ever wondered about the path you did follow? Like, what if you had done the doctor's degree and kind of, if that had been your path, you had been Dr. Sai Pallavi instead of actor Sai Pallavi? Have you ever wondered about that?
Yes, I have. I would have still been happy. I think I'm a special child, and I think that I'm here for a reason, and I want to. That's how you're brought up. You think that you have to do something for the society. Just being a selfish being is not enough. So I've always been that way, and doctor was something I could see myself being. So I would have still been very happy. But this is a surprise. I didn't know I would feel so comfortable and so passionate about being in front of the camera. It's so addictive. You're there, and then you're playing another person, and suddenly they're doing another one. After that, you just start craving for more and more roles, and it I don't know, I think it'll go on forever, or at least until whenever people want to see me. But then I think I would have still been happy if I was a doctor.
I read someplace that you were planning on completing your degree. Is that right?
Done. I did my degree and then did Kali. So
Okay.
I'm done. Yeah, I waited to finish. My parents were very serious. They thought that I would ditch medicine and then get into movies the minute Premam happened. I did Premam in my 5th year. I waited for a year, finished my course, and then I did Kali. So I'm done with it. I just need to finish the exam, and then I'll be Dr. Sai Pallavi in India. And yeah.
Fantastic. So I hope that will be a very unique thing, because I don't think there's ever been a doctor slash actor in the industry in India. So thank you so much for talking to us,
Thank
Pratibha
you.
Patel Saul.
Thank you.
It's been a pleasure, and I hope you get the kind of roles that you want and you deserve.
Thank you so much. Very sweet of you to say that. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Thanks. Bye bye.